and you have to look at it dead in the eye, while that one thing might be saying, this is the right decision, you should do this. You have to have faith in God and say no, which is a lot harder to do when there's temptation in front of you.
God was really able to speak through us, through this movie, and kind of show people, hey, you're enough. You can be forgiven. You aren't too far gone. It's always okay.
The actions that you do every day, the choices that you make every day, it's not about views. It's not about followers. It's not about likes. How do you want to show yourself to the world? And if it's views and likes, then you're not seeing the full grasp of reality here.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Reborn Experience. I am your host, Ian Wolf, and today's episode is history for the podcast. 90 solo episodes, but on episode 91, we have our first interview, not just one, but we have 3 people. It's a 4-person episode, and they're brothers, content creators, filmmakers, musicians, and so much more. So it's my pleasure to announce the Haberberger brothers. Thank you guys for joining.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We're super excited to talk with you about our movie. I'm Joey Haberberger. I'm the second oldest of us 3, and I'm the director and one of the writers of the movie, and I also did like all the camera work, pretty much, besides Ben a few times.
Yeah, I'm Ben. I was the co-writer for this, and then I starred in it. I'm the main actor.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on here. I'm Sam Haberberger. I'm the producer, music artist, and the sound designer for the album and the movie, and also in charge of the marketing.
Okay, so real quick, just give the audience a few details of the name of your movie, where it's playing, when, anything that's helpful.
Yeah. Our movie title is Night, and it's going to be playing for one night only in the Galeria cinemas. And if you want to keep going on that a little bit, also tell them about the is it anagram for it?
I was literally about to say that, actually. Yeah, so the full title is Night. It's in all caps purposefully because it's also an anagram for navigating internal ghosts holding time, which is also a theme of the movie as well. So it's like a double entendre of the movie. It's showing for one night only in theaters at the Galeria 6 Cinema at 7 p.m. on March 10th. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have VIP merch there and some complimentary stuff that you can get. It's going to be really fun.
There's free stuff.
Yeah, there's free stuff. You should come. And then, so that's going to be on the Tuesday. And then the Friday following that Tuesday is going to be the worldwide release of the album that accompanies the film as well. That'll be released on all streaming services.
All right, so we got music and movie and music coming out both that week. Super exciting. I'll be there with my girlfriend, and we got tickets for another couple of
Let's
spots.
go.
Hey, thank you so much. Yeah. Hey, thank you. We're excited to see everyone there.
Yes.
All right, so the 3 of you, brothers, close in age, why don't you give us a bit of a sneak peek or an insight into some similarities and some clear distinctions between you guys?
Yeah, so I definitely think that I would say, and they would agree, that I'm like an in-between of them too. Sam is really heavy, pretty much all on the music end. He produced the whole album, and then only with like some minor help and edits from Ben and I. Then Ben and I really dove deep into the story, and then Sam kind of built off that story. And then obviously I'm huge on video, on the storytelling. Like that's what Ben and I have done our whole lives. So I would say we have a lot of similarities with the storytelling. That's our main like common thread, you could say. But I'll hand it over to Ben because I know that whenever I wrote the story originally, no lyrics or anything were written. I just wrote the story out. I'm like, this is perfect. No editing needed on this. And then I sent it to Ben, and I was like, oh, wow, it needed a lot of editing. I'm glad that I sent this to him.
Yeah. So my main role, I would say, in the creation of this whole movie or story, I guess, I kind of edited what was already there. So Joey came up with the base idea of man with troubles walking through the city at night, gets confronted by death, and then go see it to see the ending. And then I kind of, when he sent it to me, I just immediately, like my first read through, I just had this overwhelming vision of exactly what it was going to be. Like I just saw the vision immediately. I love the story, and so I just edited it every single day. It was my junior year whenever we first had it, so I was first hour learning lab every day. I got to start my day just by editing it, going through, just reading it over and over and over and over again, and then editing it and adding different motifs, like the theme of the number 3 throughout the whole movie. Lots of little things like that I think, the audience might not initially or really ever like notice those things, but I think just like subconsciously having those small details just makes you feel like it's a more fleshed out story, and you can see the passion through it, even though you're not consciously saying like, oh, the number 3. It's just like you can tell there's like a reason behind everything.
The thought is there.
Yeah, the thought is there, and I think it's very apparent when you watch it.
Okay, so filmmaking, producing, music, acting, etc. All of those are skills and things that you guys do. Is this something you guys have been doing your entire life, or were you introduced to it at a specific point?
No, well, as far as I'll let Sam talk a little bit about music after Ben and I talk a little bit about video. Ben and I have been doing video for as long as we can remember, and even Sam was included in those earlier years. Whenever we had like made up superheroes, his was Nightstroke, and we filmed the movie for that. And then yeah, and I still remember all the names. I was Lightstrike, and Ben was Fire Blaster. He was a Fiery Hulk. I remember all of them well. But anyway, enough about that. We did a lot of that kind of stuff, a ton of stop motion, recreating Star Wars stories, and then we would use like the ship in the sky and film that to make it look like there's a real ship flying. So we were introduced to it our whole lives.
The scenes too.
Yeah, it's in some of it's in the behind the scenes too. So come out, and then our dad and mom introduced us to movies at a really young age. So we've always had a love for it. So for Ben and I feel like it's really been our whole lives. And you could touch a little bit like on our room experiences.
Yeah, so me and Joey, our whole life, like we've been kind of best friends our whole life because Sam was, in his own little world, being the oldest and weird and emo. And then Annie was
he wore headphones as a part of his
yeah,
suit.
this guy was emo the majority of his life. No hate, but a little bit on Sam. And then Annie, obviously, as the youngest and the only girl, she was in her own. So like me and Joey kind of formed this bond because we were really similar in a lot of different ways, and we would make stories together. So we shared a room, and not every night, but a lot of nights, we would do these little made-up characters called the Bens, because my name's Ben, we're pretty clever. And I would just dress up in different outfits and do my hair different, and I would just act all silly and different ideas.
The stereotype of like a rich person.
But we then took those and like made movies out of them. So it was like birthday videos for our sister or whatever it was. But moral of the story, we were always into storytelling. We always wanted to tell stories. We made Lego stop motion and then toys and then these Ben movies. So me and Joey, when it comes to video, we just have always been very interested in it. And then Joey, when he got to high school, joined broadcast journalism, became the chief editor, loved all this video aspect of it, and then forced me to join. I ended up loving it. I'm now the chief editor.
He didn't want to join.
Yeah, because I didn't really understand it, but like we are in love with video.
Because I always did the video part of stuff, always. And so whenever Ben was doing it, it's like, I like the acting. I was like, you will like this. Trust me, you need to at least get involved. And then flash forward 2 years, and he's the chief editor now, and has also won national awards.
Yeah. National awards. Tell me a little bit about that.
Man, you can tell them.
We both, me and Joey, so like on behalf of Lindbergh Publications, have like submitted different stories, and we call them like cycles and stuff that we've made to different awards. I've won a second place for one of my stories, and then this year I won a ninth place award. Joey won one for like being the best EIC or something like that.
I won one for like a Pescetti story I have, which is a restaurant in St. Louis, and then another thing. I don't know if the Forest Park one ever won one, but then I also won one for EIC, which is editor in chief. But
I think the moral of the story is that we've just been into video.
Yeah. Anyway, that got strayed off a little bit, but yeah, Ben and I have been into video like our whole lives.
Okay, so both of you mentioned how as you guys were growing up, you guys would make videos and films in your room and stuff like that. You would recreate various things. How would you do that? Are there any specific platforms that you guys would use to film and edit?
Yeah,
Stop motion studio.
Yeah, well, we'll answer this, then we'll let Sam talk a little bit about his music journey too, because I want to make sure he talks about that because it's an interesting one. But as far as me, I mean, we started on my dad's work friend's kid's old iPad.
Say that again.
My dad's work friend's kid's old iPad. We used, and that was the iPad we used because we never got like electronics, which thank God. I'm glad that we did. Yeah, and then I think we also shared like a Samsung tablet or two. I think two. One had a blue case, one had a red, and but those weren't necessarily for stop motion. The iPad was, and we used some sort of stop motion studio. You said,
yeah, stop motion studio.
And then we used that for stop motion, and we could draw like little with like a marker on there, so we would make it look like they're going like pew pew and stuff like that. so peak videos. And then when we didn't have any grasp on any video, what we would do. So do you know, like, when you're videotaping, you have the feature to just pause it?
Yes.
And then keep playing it later, like, pause. Okay, now go. Like, you don't stop it.
Yeah.
We would do that whenever we would film. So we would film these, not even joking, when we were little, like 30, 45-minute videos where we would just click pause and make sure it doesn't turn off. Make sure it doesn't, because we didn't know how to edit. So we would just pause it. All right, what are we going to say here? Play. And then as we got older, for a while, I used WeVideo because I was really comfortable with that. And then I learned Adobe, and then I've mixed that with CapCut for different effects and stuff. So we're all over the place now. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, you guys have had experience on a number of different platforms.
Yeah.
I can relate to that on TikTok, making videos, and like I start, pause, and if I mess up one time, oh man, I have to start all over.
Yeah, it's so aggravating. Yeah. We made a lot of mess ups that we were just like, we're not redoing it. We're like 45 minutes in. Here.
Yeah, for video editing, that they've definitely they took the reins for that for sure. I think for me, pretty much, I think you guys would probably agree, since I was like freaking born, I've loved creating things. I've always been a creative
Drawing
person.
Especially.
Yeah, I started with drawing when I was in elementary school. I still do, but I was obsessed with Disney, so I would draw Disney characters in elementary school, and then it would eventually evolve to Marvel and all that stuff. I think that after a while, it was I'm about to graduate in a couple months with a degree in graphic design, so I designed the posters for this, the album cover, all that stuff, and then as well as music. I think probably sophomore year of high school was when I really started falling in love with different types of music, because really growing up, the three of us were only listening to like one or two styles of music. It was like
mainly musicals, which you can really kind of
Broadway.
feel at times in this
movie. We grew up listening to Broadway and show tunes and stuff because my parents loved it, and so we just kind of always listened to it. And then as we grow older and we started listening to our own music, in class and all that stuff, we started listening to really like every type of genre besides like death metal.
It is important that we had that show tune intro, because when you watch this movie, I think that show tunes and musicals have like a big impact in the storytelling of this. It may not be something we listen to a lot, but it's something that impacted us heavily.
Yeah, you can tell that the performance aspect is there for sure. And I would say sophomore year and freshman year ish, I got to a pretty low point where it was like mental health wise, and I think that one of the big things that helped me was listening to albums and from various artists and stuff, and I think that those artists also inspired me and my brothers as well to make the album, the styles of music we decided, the movie direction we went from, different movies we love and everything. I think that was a huge part in what shaped us to make Night today, and I think that's a big part, and that plays a big part in our creative lives on a day-to-day basis.
Sam, are there any specific music artists that you've listened to that have in particular helped you in certain points of your life?
The big one throughout high school for sure that got me through every low point pretty much that I would hit mentally. 21 Pilots is a huge one. They basically touch on like every theme that we grew up our whole lives loving, like whether it's God, religion, mental health struggles, depression, anxiety, moving to a new place or not making friends.
And the immediate attraction to them too in the beginning was that they have this kind of at times musical storytelling. So when we were little, it was like, oh, also like that storytelling aspect that we really liked.
Yeah, and their musical style too. They have so many different styles and stuff, and so the production even was a huge part of that. And so that kind of took over for Night as well, where we love taking different elements of different artists we love and using certain aspects of their production or their lyrics or the way that they inflect their voice. Like every little thing, we have, I don't know, 20 different artists that we use different things from. And so, The Weeknd's is probably the second biggest one that we listen to. His production style, the way that he can immerse you in a song and all that stuff. It's everything plays a part for sure.
What you just said is super, super important. How you said there's 20 different artists that you might take bits and pieces from and apply it to yourself and your craft. future Hall of Fame college football coach Nick Saban, he once had a quote. He said that nothing I do with my team or my players is my own. For those of you guys who don't know who Nick Saban is, head coach at Alabama for a long time, numerous national championships, sent so many players to the NFL. But yeah, that was his whole point. Nothing is my own. I've learned all these bits and pieces from different coaches and mentors and stuff like that.
It's all experience. I totally agree with that.
For sure.
A huge part of craft, I mean, even a podcast, right? Almost anything is taking what you've learned and applying it. I mean, everything has some sort of origin, and everything is original in its own way, but even some of our favorite bands were inspired by other things, which, you know, caused them to make their music. So I think being able to put a pin on it and saying, like, I am inspired, there are others who do it great, I am not the best at it, right? Like, we have a lot of inspirations from just human beings in our life, to family, to artists, to movies. That is why we made this movie. It was inspiration and creativity from other things that we have seen and heard. Absolutely.
Do you guys have any mentors or coaches or people that have helped you along the way? Like Sam, for you, have you had any vocal coaches? Jen, Joey, and Ben, have you guys had anyone who's taken you under their wing and helped you become a better filmmaker? Like,
Do you want to go first?
Yeah. I've had 0 acting lessons, 0, literally nothing. I am not a good actor. Like, we really have, I would say,
Come see our movie.
dude, come see our movie. No, really, I would say when it comes to video, credit to my broadcast teacher, Miss Hoisington. I knew nothing about video or anything at all. Screw you, bro. I knew nothing about video or anything at all freshman year of high school. And then sophomore year, I took broadcast journalism, and I learned that it's not just taking a camera and pressing record. It's these different angles and everything in depth, and why do you want to go here, if it's tall or short or whatever. And so that just got me interested in how to shoot something interesting in like a video. So I would say when it comes to shooting video, broadcast journalism teacher, Miss Hoisington, and then Joey, he, took me under his wing when it came to video too.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. I Miss Hoisington taught me the basics. I would definitely say, like, she got me like when I didn't understand a shot, I would put everything in 0.1 zoom or whatever, and she was the first one to introduce me like to Waldo, and which is like, and all those different shots. So I would shout out to her, and then after that, honestly, my biggest mentors were watching movies. I've watched so many movies, and a big part of that is actually, you could say, shout out to my dad, because he showed us, like, maybe not great, but he showed us Pulp Fiction whenever Sam was like, what, 15? I mean, which it might not be crazy for a lot of people. Yes, Ben was in like 7th grade, and we were just exposed to great movies at such a young age. So if it weren't for him showing us all these movies and then me being inspired by them, I don't know if we would be right here right now. It might be later on, right? I've seen so many movies. So starting with that basic understanding and learning of storytelling, visual storytelling with shots and cameras with Miss Hoisington, but then my whole life learning just from angles and all that. Like, a lot of different shots in this movie are just because, like, I've seen it in a movie and I think it looks good, and then it translates well. Some of them look really good and symbolic as a mistake. Like, I've showed specifically a friend one shot near the end, and he's like, oh, it looks like that. I'm like, yeah, I meant that. Yeah, 100%. But then some are like super, super purposeful that I like took, 30 minutes just to set up and get somebody, right where I want them, and then nobody notices. So it's all dependent, but 100% Miss Hoisington, my dad, and then all movies that I've watched my whole life.
Okay. Yeah, it's always nice to have people review your work and see and like point out things that you would not have otherwise noticed.
Yeah. And then Sam, you could talk about music if you want.
Yeah, as far as mentors go, there's not really any. Yeah, like I've had a couple people in my life where it's like, oh, they know how to play the piano or the guitar, and it's like I've learned a couple chords or something from them. For the most part, music-wise, I've been self-taught. I would say starting in COVID and lockdown was the really start of learning instruments, teaching myself instruments. I got a ukulele for Christmas of the year of 2020. So as soon as, everyone was locked down in their houses, I would teach myself ukulele, and 21 Pilot songs was a big one for ukulele songs. So I would kind of eventually learn myself with chords and stuff like that. That would turn into piano. And then my fiance Avra got me a beat pad with a music audio software, and so then that eventually evolved into me making covers of my favorite songs of different types of artists, and then that would turn into me making my own music. So as far as music goes, it's definitely been majority self-taught. Yeah, and experience, just watching YouTube.
That's the case for all of us. Like,
Yeah.
like while Miss Hoisington was in our lives and we saw a lot of movies, a lot of it's just experience. If Ben and I hadn't shot 4,000 different movies and I hadn't edited, oh my gosh, the amount of videos I've edited. Guys, how many home movies have I edited together? How many anniversary literally in the billions probably by now. I'm joking, but
Wow.
yeah, no, but it just constant editing, and some of them are bad, right? Like looking back, I'm just like, that's just not good, right? But then some of them are like, man, I'm glad I did that. It taught me how to do something. So just a lot of experience.
But sorry, I will say though, I will say though, even though the majority of this was self-taught, we do actually have a lot of great people in our lives that help support and like love watching and seeing us do that as a hobby. Like our grandparents are huge ones. Like they will always do anything to help us out. Shout out my grandparents. Shout out our parents.
All of my camera stuff is from my grandparents, pretty much. All of it. Yeah.
All the equipment that we've gotten and stuff is from grandparents, parents. We help each other out on Christmases and birthdays and stuff. Shout out to my manager at my graphic design job too. Yeah, Kent at Papa John's. My manager at my graphic design place was actually able to help us out and get us our own first press release, to get our first article to talk about the movie and the album and all that stuff. Got us some views. Yeah, your teacher. So we have so many people in our lives that love seeing what we do, but as far as actually learning it, I say it's more self-taught.
Yeah, we do get a lot of support in what we do. And like, for a quick shout out to my teacher, for example, with support, is that she actually she's coming to the movie, number one, but number two, she actually made an assignment that she's bringing a participation paper with her, an attendance sheet, and if you come to my movie that day and you're in that class, you get a 5% extra credit if you come to the movie. Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, that again, like those little things that mean a lot. Yeah, so we've got a lot of people who support us, which is really nice.
Yeah, there's a saying that goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force the water to drink. And the way I'm trying to tie that into it is that you can have a tremendous coach or mentor in your life, but if you don't actually get the reps yourself, and if you don't actually go through some ups and downs and some tough lessons and failures, those are critical for your skills to develop.
Yeah, you can't have someone else do it.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely think it's just trying and failing lots and lots and lots of times, especially with acting. Again, I've had 0 acting lessons. I wasn't in theater or anything like that. I literally was just going off of just instinct, I guess. And I think that what helped is like that we've been making videos our whole lives, so I was able to kind of practice using those emotions. Like when you're sad, you do this face, and I can watch it on screen and be like, that's not convincing. Maybe if I did this. And I even think within the movie night, because we filmed basically the whole movie in chronological order, because we had to like rip up my outfit and everything. So I think at least for me, from the first shot to the last shot, I can see myself kind of progress in my acting skills, because I was able to rewatch scene after scene after scene and be like, oh, I don't like what I do with my face there. So I think just trying and failing really taught us well.
For sure. All right, so Sam, Ben, Joey, all three of you are faith-based people. How has God used your skills for the greater good of people?
Do you want to start with it?
Do you want to start, Ben?
Yeah, sure. I definitely think this story wouldn't be this story night without religion and these themes throughout it. So when we first got it, the story wasn't inherently about God or faith or anything like that. It was a very basic story of man meets death, has to confront his past and everything like that, ending. And whenever I read that, like the idea of adding religion, it was the cherry on top, but it made it from good to great. It made this story really come full circle. So being able to add this whole aspect of like forgiveness and temptation and all these things that like really
Forgiving yourself.
Yes, forgiving yourself. And I think it's something a lot of people can relate to. It's feeling like you aren't enough, living with regrets, living with pain of not thinking you are a good person, and knowing even this character, me, doesn't know that he is forgiven. And I think it's really eye-opening to know, like, no matter what you think you've done, no matter how far gone you think you are always forgiven. And that's like this big theme throughout the movie. And I really don't think this movie would be the same without those themes. So I think that God was really able to speak through us, through this movie, and kind of show people, hey, you're enough. You can be forgiven. You aren't too far gone. It's always okay.
Combined.
Just being able to combine our skill, like because we wouldn't have been able to really show that without the music or without the film. I think that all three of our skills combined really was able to convey that message really well.
Yeah, it seems like the three of you come together and mesh really well with different strengths and different perspectives on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if Sam has a lot to say about it too, but I know for me, like at a young age, I was always taught by my parents and like PSR teachers, like God is all around you, Jesus is all around you, right? Like he's on your nose, he's on your head. I don't know if you ever learned any of that, but yeah. So I think that one of the big things for writing this in this movie, after talking with Ben for a while, I said I think I do want to make it more religion based, and he agreed. It started to become a lot about how can we make God a character without ever including him. And I think that's where my dad came in a lot, and his character definitely feels like this like father God kind of figure in it. And then I think that's where we purposely made it so that the Ben already said, so I'm okay saying it, death being its own like kind of character. Temptation is a very physical thing, I feel like. Or a lot of times, and temptation is everywhere, but God is not necessarily right in front of you all the time. And the point of the movie for me while I was writing is I wanted to make it clear, in order to have faith, that you must make a very conscious decision in order to have that faith, that there might be something in front of you saying, take my hand and do what I say, or like do this, you'll feel good, or whatever, something like that. And you have to look at it dead in the eye. While that one thing might be saying, this is the right decision, you should do this, you have to have faith in God and say, no, no, which is a lot harder to do when there's temptation in front of you.
Yeah, you just described the essence of faith right there, is that faith is faith and hope and trust in the unseen. It's not the things that are right in front of you, because if it's right in front of you, it involves zero faith, zero trust whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that is really important. The overall thing was it's very easy for human beings to choose the easy path out, which is, okay, this is not what I deserve. What the devil or death says a lot is, I know what you deserve. You're broken, you're bad. I know what you deserve, and it's not heaven. And so it's very easy to be like, you're right. Okay, and just take that hand, take the easy road out. I'm never going to repent.
And a lot of people say that to themselves.
Yeah, it's I'm too far gone. I'm never going to get better. Where it's a lot harder because you don't see God. He's not physically there for you. It's a lot harder to say, no, I am enough. I can come out of this. I am worth something. So yeah.
It's a very important thing in our movie. Like God is very important, and what's also important to note is that, because he isn't a direct character, but more of like an essence, I don't even know, like just like an idea in the movie, that you can watch this movie with zero faith in God and have your own ideas of the ending. We purposely filmed it that way. And
loved open-ended endings.
Yeah, we love open-ended endings, but as far as God goes in our filmmaking and our lives and the creation just of this movie, his character, him being in the movie, is extremely important, and it couldn't be without him. Yet he's not like in it, which I think, which when writing it was extremely purposeful. I don't know if I'm gonna say this. Like, for example, one of the things we have is the motif of 3, and if you watch throughout the movie, there's 3 times before something. There's 3 times when this happens. On the album cover, there's 3 clouds. I want some people to find these things out for themselves, but that's purposeful, right? 1, 2, 3. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. God is throughout the entire movie, yet you never see him. You got to search for those things. You got to really look for them, and if you ignore them, then they're easy to ignore. Yeah, the devil's right in front of your face the whole movie. He's talking to you, but you have to really look past that to see that number 3 and say, like, he's still there. Like, I still got to have faith in that. So an idea. So.
And on the in the album, you'll see too, whenever the album releases, God is a little bit more obvious whenever he plays a part in the album when you're listening to it versus when you're watching the movie. And I won't say too much specifically on a song that is actually not. So on the movie, there's going to be 2 songs that are not in the movie that are on the album. So if you watch the movie, it's not like, oh, well, I don't have to listen to the album now. So they actually go hand in hand. Yeah, like very, very important songs that are not going to be in the movie that are on the album. And then there's also going to be some scenes and lines and stuff in the movie that are not on the movie that are going to be in the album. So you get kind of the internal thoughts audio wise, and you can kind of picture the grand scheme of the story when you're listening to the album, and then the movie is definitely the visual representation. So there's a lot of different religious wise, a lot of different stuff that you may not see in the movie, but you'll hear in the album, and vice versa.
Why don't you guys, without spoiling it, give us a little insight into the main character of the movie?
Yeah, I'll give a little bit, and then I'll give it to Ben because he really, I'm gonna be honest. All three of us had different molds on this character, because without Sam writing the lyrics about it, and then without me writing the initial story, and then without Ben taking off with it, this character wouldn't exist. This character is a culmination. I forget if Sam said this earlier or on the first take, but Rue is a full culmination of us three, and some might be a little, fiction, and some might be non-fiction, but he's a culmination. So for me, an insight on Rue is definitely on the album to help him understand Rue a little bit more. The song "Wake Me," which is, I don't know if it's technically the third track because of intro. Technically the third track. The first song's an intro, but the third track on the album, it's Rue in like a nightmare, and he's like thinking about all of these things, like who he is, and he wants to just like wake up from this nightmare. And I think that song, compared to one of the middle tracks called "The Road," compared to the second to last track called "Damage," like when you listen to it through and through, it's like this full, like, you almost feel more connected with God by the end, and then you're like, your heart's on edge, and then I don't feel like it ever like releases. It's just like,
and I think we did such a good job with the ending of the album and the movie.
I agree.
Yeah,
we don't want to talk about.
I don't want to give away too, but if there's no reason for you to like be excited, I don't really want to see the movie, go just for the ending. The ending's so good.
We don't want to glaze it too hard because in case you guys don't like it, but we do like it. But to finish my thoughts about Rue, I definitely think something that's really important to the character, in my opinion, that I specifically wanted to make sure I wrote in there, is that Rue also has a past that we don't always know about. We all have done things, I feel like, that we don't make clear to the public all the time. We all have just done things that we're like, I shouldn't have done that. Like, and sometimes it's a constant thing. God, I shouldn't have said that. God, I shouldn't have done this. I mean, every single day, you sin every single day, where we all sin. And I think for Rue, he's too conscious of those sins. Like he is overly aware of all of his mistakes. And that's the point of a lot of these songs. A lot of his mistakes, I'll let you guys talk about that. But yeah, and I think that "Wake Me," "The Road," like songs like that, "Burning Daylight," really show that he's overly aware of all of his mistakes and doesn't allow himself any room for forgiveness. And I'll hand it over to Ben, and then Sam, you could talk about the meaning of Rue, but Ben really took off with that and made the character feel a little bit more alive.
Real quick, I'd like to say something without having heard your album yet. I'm super excited for it because it sounds very, very relatable and personable as well. Nothing against anyone that makes like the really like the feel good songs and stuff like that, but I have a hard time relating to those songs sometimes. Where you guys, it seems like it's very raw and real.
It's not just go party, have a great time. It's like how I almost like to think of some of those songs is, what are those thoughts before and after that party? It's not the Instagram highlights people post. It's while you're posting it, like, how are you feeling? You know what I mean? It's how are you actually feeling?
Yeah, I agree. I think you did a good job summarizing Rue as a character. I think the most important thing for me to making him a relatable character was making him really fleshed out and detailed while also being very generic. So what I mean by that is, like, I didn't want him just to be some random guy. We named him Rue for a reason. We made his outfit for a reason, everything he does for a reason. But we made his background and like his past and like what is he so scared of in his past. We don't really touch on that too much because we want it to be, when you, Ian, go to watch this movie, you can kind of watch it and think like, oh, like this is what I relate to. This is what I like. This is what I am regretting in my past, and you can kind of relate that to him. So we don't want it to make it one certain thing. But yeah, as a character, I think you did a good job summarizing. I don't really have much to add other than, like, we wanted to make it generic enough to where anyone can relate to it, but like specifics enough to where he feels like a real human.
Yeah, we do give him some specific flaws and all that, just, well, because number one, everyone is, but number two, we do want to build this character being a human being and his own original human being. But like Ben said, we purposely kept a lot of it generic because I'm sure you don't want to tell everyone about your mistakes. I'm sure that you have your own regrets and your own things, and I wanted to keep that personal for Rue. And I think that we all have talked about, me, Sam, and Ben, about what those regrets may be and what that may look like. Just like you might talk about that to your close friends. You hear a phone call at a point in the movie and record that where he hears from it could be whoever you want, a brother, a friend, a father, and you hear a little bit more with that. So just like Ben said, just keeping it generic enough to where people can relate to it, but original and specific enough to where Rue is a human being.
Right. Speaking on regrets, what are some regrets that you guys do not wish to have later down the road in life?
Later down the road,
Like things we don't want to do now and regret.
Correct.
I would say the main fear of mine is being in a place where I no longer have drive or motivation to be as creative as I am today. Like, you know, being stuck in a 9-to-5 job or something like that, and then I come home and I don't have, you know, any want to make a song or to design something, you know, for a freelance client or something like that. And that's probably my biggest fear, is that I get not boring, but not I'm not utilizing my skills that I was given when I was made, you know. Same with Joey and Ben too. I'm sure that they probably agree, is that like us three, our talents mesh so well that I think that if any of the three of us were to like stop doing what we're doing, we wouldn't be able to do what we do now.
We're each like a chain, and we're only as strong as its weakest link.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah, for sure. That's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, Ben, you can talk about yours, and then I will.
When it comes to like regrets and everything, I think one regret that I now am not going to have because of this is that we tried and put ourselves out there. I would never be able to live with myself if we had never actually tried to put together a movie or something like that and released it, because I would always have that lingering thought in my head, like, oh, like you never actually tried, you never actually put yourself out there. But now I really do rest easy that I was able to actually get this out, because I feel like it was such a long time coming, which is inevitable before we finally made something like this and put it out. So I'm really happy that I don't have to live with that regret of, you know, not putting ourselves out there.
And we don't plan on stopping either.
Yeah.
Exactly. You'll never have that what if. And, you know, do you guys know how many other people I know besides you guys who have actually created a whole movie and then put it out in theaters?
I don't know.
0.
Oh, no way.
So seriously, like that's incredibly impressive of you guys. And
and we appreciate that a lot. And you know, it is just one theater, one night, but to us, it's a huge deal. It's like satisfying that little kid within us, right? Like we all have made movies, and like I'm talking about us. Maybe everyone's made a movie. We all know, and we've done entertainment stuff our whole life and told stories, and whether it's just playing with action figures, we loved it. So seeing this on a big screen is just like a dream come true, truly. And then as far as regrets for me, it's a little bit off topic, but honestly, it's not movie, it's not filmmaking, because I know that no matter what, I'm always going to make videos. I need to. It's something I crave. Honestly, it's I always want to make sure that I am close with my family. They're the most important thing to me. One of my biggest fears is that in the future, down the line, we split up for some reason. That we live in different areas of the country. That my sister becomes a super big volleyball player because she's in club, and she moves away to California. Not literally, but you know what I mean. So one of the most important things I want to do now is making sure that I spend as much time with family and building those relationships, because this movie wouldn't have happened, but 100% would not have happened if it were not for our relationship as brothers. And even all of our family had a part in this movie. Every single one of them, they either acted in it, had an idea with it, had some sort of critique, had some sort of compliment, and they all added to it. And the end of it is that this movie wouldn't have happened if it weren't for our relationship, if we weren't this close, if we didn't forgive each other for anything that we've done to each other in the past, if we didn't look forward to what might be to come, that faith, fate, and fear that we talk a lot about in the movie that we'll touch on later probably. But I don't want to look back and say, I couldn't have tried harder with my brothers. I couldn't have tried harder with my sister. I want to do that now. I want to put in that effort now, and then sit around a fire one day grilling with all my family and be happy that I did.
That was beautifully put. Is it safe to say that the creation of this film has brought you and your family closer together?
I would say absolutely. In a lot of ways, I would actually, for sure the three. I would say in a lot of ways, there's been pros and cons, because Ava's over here probably saying, yeah, besides Sam being gone 24/7, sure, yeah, I mean, I'm engaged to him, no big deal. And I think that is a big part of it. I think that's taken a lot of time, and days where I probably couldn't have seen my sister go play volleyball, and I might have missed out on that. And that's a regret, one that Ben and I try our best with, to go see her when she goes and plays out of town, or missing a whatever, some sort of meeting or hanging out, a family night that we might have missed. And that sucks, because I forget again if it was this one that we talked about it on, we have busy schedules, so it's where can we fit, but I also don't want to sacrifice my family's time, whatever. So in a lot of ways, it's brought us closer together, especially as brothers. And I think my family's enjoyed us seeing us bond so much like that. But then I also think in a lot of ways that we've missed out on some experiences that I feel like we do need to make up on, and make sure our family knows we still value them and their time and what they do.
Yeah, it's really awesome that you have the conviction of how important family is, and being there to support your sister. That's something that I've recently gained more conviction about too. Is I think growing up, I was pretty selfish, and I would miss a lot of my younger brother's things. He's involved in sports and different activities, but it's just been as of more recently that I've tried to sacrifice myself a little bit more and make more time. Like yesterday, he had a basketball game, and I drove an hour just to see him play, then turn back around. So
yeah, that's a great thing that you do, and it's something that me, Ben, and Sam are not perfect on. It's something that we need to work on, and it's an important thing, because my sister, this is important to her now, just like our movie is important to us now. We don't know how long we'll be making movies. We don't know how long she'll be doing volleyball. We don't know how many family games that we can play at the kitchen table. So like I said earlier, I don't want that to become a regret, that I didn't go to her volleyball games, or I didn't play a family board game, or we didn't watch a movie together. So that's important.
And then that also turns into time management too, because I know that Ben's a high school student. Me and Joey are full-time college students. I'm working 4 jobs. I am graduating in a couple months. I'm getting married in June. We just moved into an apartment. We're releasing the movie and an album. We're doing all this stuff. So I think that once we are able to find a really good balance with our schedule, it'll go really well. And like I said earlier, it's not like we're stopping on creating or anything like that, because we're already working on a new project and stuff. But I think it'll be fun to be able to figure out the balance for everything.
The important thing is for to specify here is we love our family, we love our friends, and we want to make sure that everyone that we know and love and are close to, we value their time, what they do, and their hobbies. And it is very difficult to find that balance between what we are doing, what they are doing, what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. There's a lot of outside opinions, a lot of outside factors, but the point is, when you break it down to its core, is that we love the people in our lives. We want to be there for them, and it would really suck if continuing to do art would hurt that relationship with them. So it's just about finding that balance. So
yeah, it sounds to me like you guys are very ambitious and driven, but at the same time, you don't want to sacrifice relationships in your life as well.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys have any advice or tips for other hustlers out there who are looking to have a better balance of time management and responsibilities?
What I would say is, no matter what your passion is, don't stop doing it for any reason. So like, if you're a guy and you're about to get married to a girl and your passion is making movies like us, and she's saying, I never want you to make movies again, maybe she's not the one. But you also don't want to let you get consumed by it. So like, I think when it comes to a significant other, he or she should be pushing you to be better. And if that means, hey, you need to pull back a little bit, or hey, you need to push forward a little bit, you haven't been doing your passion, go out and do it. I know this is what you love, but they should also like hold you back. So I think you just need to stay balanced.
Obsession. That's an important thing.
There's obsession. Yeah. So stay balanced. Find people who help you stay balanced, whether that's a significant other, a friend, dad, brother.
Yeah, I think that an important, it sounds kind of silly, but it is actually a helpful thing that I do. Break down your day hour by hour. You should look at your calendar and say, okay, I have nothing to do for 4 hours. Should I be spending 4 hours making one song? okay, my girlfriend's in the other room. I should probably go and talk to her. I should probably call my mom. It's been a while. So break down your day and see what actually is helpful for you to do. That's what I did when making this movie, to make sure I had time. If my sister was out of town playing volleyball, I would make sure that I took a break from editing, or I would put on her volleyball while I was editing, live stream it. It's break down your days and make sure that when you look at it as a whole, it's not, I don't know if the people listening could see my fingers. I don't think you can. But it's but it's a small. If you're looking at your calendar, it's not a little tiny amount of work, study, hanging out, and then a huge amount of your creativity. Make sure that it's being balanced everywhere.
Joey, you will be an incredible teacher one day.
I color code all of my calendars, so.
All right, so where do you guys see yourself in 5 years with your hobbies, your lifestyle, all that stuff?
5 years from now, so like I said, I'm getting married in a few months. I'm graduating in a few months. I'm about to get a bachelor's degree in graphic design. I think that the big thing for me is I want to be able to grind for a year or two, make as much money as I can, so that way I can kind of have a really good foundation of starting a life, a family, get a dog, all that stuff, and just be comfortable living and not have to like financially struggle, and then keep continuing this hobby. And it would be awesome if something happened with that. Like I would love to still do full-time graphic design. I'll never stop doing graphic design or anything creative like that. I'll never stop creating. But if God put the three of us with these skills together for a reason, and something happens, that'd be awesome. And if not, then something better is in store. But I think that that's definitely my main goal, is just keep doing what we're doing, just get better at it.
Yeah, and Sam, I just want to piggyback off of that real quick. One thing you guys mentioned to me earlier was that there's no way it's a coincidence that the three of you, brothers close in age, all were placed in the same family, and you guys have these skills that just complement one another. So that's definitely a divine thing in the works.
Yeah, we'd like to think so too. My brother and I, in our bunk beds, would always talk about that when we were little too. As far as creativity in 5 years goes, I hope that I'm doing the same thing. I want to keep on working and striving to be better at what I do now. But realistically and honestly, what I've wanted my whole life and what I want now is I want that white picket fence house goal. I want a life that I love. I want children that I love. I want to be an elementary teacher. I don't know if I said it earlier, but I'll make sure I do. If I ever become big in any way, I am going to be an elementary teacher that is also a director. I don't want to be a director that was going to be an elementary teacher. Elementary is where my goal is. Wanting a wife and family is where my goal always has been. Passing down my faith to my children, making sure that they understand why God is important in my life, why it should be in theirs. I can't stress enough that in 5 years I want to be heading down that road. I don't want to. That family I've emphasized on a lot here, and we made sure to include a little bit of it in the movie actually. But I really want to make sure that in 5 years I'm going down that house with that family, that wife with the job. So yeah.
Okay, I'd like to emphasize something that you said just to make sure that none of our listeners miss that. But you said that you want to be an elementary teacher that may also be a director, but not the other way around, not a director that was going to be an elementary teacher. Do you think that being an elementary teacher, do you think that's a great way of grounding you and humbling you into service and putting other people above yourself?
Oh, 100%. I mean, my mom is a reading specialist, and she was an elementary teacher, and she works in elementary school. She's my biggest inspiration, and I love what she does. I love being in the elementary schools, and I'm obviously not doing it for the money. So I don't want to lose sight of who I am. And then all of a sudden one day I look back and I was like, why am I doing this? Like I wanted to be a teacher. Like that was my home. And to your point, you make a great point saying that. I think a big aspect of it is that going into elementary, it does keep me grounded. It doesn't like it's something I do truly love to my core. It is like, when I'm losing sight or touch with why I'm being an elementary teacher in my classes, when we go to a field experience and I'm actually in the classroom, I'm like, this is why. So I think a big part of it might be grounding, absolutely, but another is that I just like literally need it. Like it's something that I've known my whole life, and it's something I'm not willing to give up to pursue another dream, because the dream number one is elementary teacher.
Okay. Yeah, I want to hit on one more thing, and then Ben, I'll let you go. But I was a paraprofessional in a middle school for a year, and I think it's very important that even as a teacher, you remember your why and the reason why you got into that in the first place. What I mean by that is your number one why should be placing your students first, serving them, nurturing them, and helping them grow, because there are teachers in every district worldwide, more than likely, who definitely lose sight of that.
I like the politics of it. They get very into like that board and all that. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. Putting other things within the industry above the students, and it should be students first. So
Yeah.
making sure you have a pure posture there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I won't touch too much on about that, but because I agree with everything you said, and I've met teachers who have been working for years and years and years and love what they do, and I've met teachers who have been working 4 years and are burnt out. So I think that we've all had teachers who are rude, whatever, and I want to be the teacher where you come in and you know that you're going to have a safe space where you're going to be comfortable, and none of that goes below, or sorry. Being a director, none of that goes above that. Like being an elementary teacher, being that comfort space, helping students learn, grow, all of that stuff. I would much rather, in all honesty, teach the next Steven Spielberg than be the next Steven Spielberg.
Wow, that's incredibly. I'll just say humble, but so many words. I love that.
Yeah, I want to be an elementary teacher. Anyway, I don't know if I've said it enough. All right, I'll hand it over to Ben, though.
All right, thank you, Joey.
All right, bro. Yeah, I think in 5 years, hopefully I'll be graduated college. Hopefully I'll be on my way. I guess you never know. Hopefully I'll be on my way to be marrying a woman. I mean, like, personally, having a wife and kids, that is the dream. You know, that's the most beautiful part of life, is, you know, spending the rest of your life with someone you love. So I really want that. I'm going into finance in college because, you know, one of the goals I've always had for my life is having enough financially to set my family up for success. You know, I want to be able to, like, look my kids in the eyes and be like, you don't have to worry, you know, you can go wherever you want for college and all that stuff. So going into finance, but obviously there'll always be that part of me that wants to be a director. You know, like, I'm only acting in this because we don't have enough money to hire an actor. You know, like, I've always wanted to be.
And you're a good actor. You undersell yourself.
Yeah.
You get really good towards the end, too. You are a good actor.
Taking the modesty approach.
Yeah. Well, my real passion is just in storytelling, making movies. And so, I mean, I will never stop making movies. I don't think you will either. I think me and you, till the day we are dead or can't move anymore, we will be making stories. We'll be making movies. And that's where my passion always has been and always will lie, is just telling stories. So hopefully that's what I'll be doing in 5 years. Hopefully getting married soon and still making movies.
So you're a junior or senior in high school?
I'm a senior in high school.
Okay, what college will you be attending?
So I'm going to Merrimack for 1 year, then I'm transferring to Mizzou, and I'm going to be minoring in journalism, majoring in finance.
Okay, I hear that Mizzou has a great journalism program.
Yes, I mean, as someone who's interested in journalism and video, going to Mizzou and not doing something in journalism, yeah. I would be so upset with myself, so I kind of have to. I feel like no-brainer. All
right, thank you three for sharing.
Yes.
Now, let's go back to the movie here for a little bit. So it premieres March 10th, and what are some hopes that you guys have for the movie and the way that it impacts people?
For impact, I think for today, I think the biggest thing is word of mouth. I think that in the short form content era today, it's so oversaturated. And not that, you know, TikTok and YouTube and Instagram Reels, all that stuff, like, they are really great for getting your stuff out there publicly now, and we still utilize it, and we will be utilizing it the day of the premiere too. Like, we're going to be going around the Galleria Mall, probably post a couple TikToks of us going to people in person and talking to them about it. But I think that regardless of short form content, I think that talking to people is still, like, the best way of getting impact out there. So, I mean, even today, I graduated high school 4.5 years ago now, and I still run into people from high school saying, dude, your graduation speech at high school graduation, like, it was so great and all that stuff. So I think the equivalent to that would be people coming up to us after the premiere, whether it's a week later, a day later, 5 years later, to say, you know, I love that story. I love that album that I listened to. It was really great lyrics, all that stuff.
Absolutely. What are some things that you said in your graduation speech that made that so special?
I think the theme, I mean, even just in our life, but the main theme was legacy. Is what do you want to leave behind when you're no longer here? I didn't want to do a high school speech. We graduated from COVID and we had masks and life was so hard, like, because that was during.
We didn't get a graduation.
Yeah, we didn't get a graduation. Yeah, all of that stuff. Like it's been said millions of times. I wanted to leave something where people
our dad was a huge inspiration for that.
My shout out my dad. He basically helped me write the entire thing. It's about leaving a legacy, leaving that footprint behind whenever you're not here, whether whenever you leave high school, when you leave college, when you die. Like, what do you want to be remembered by? Because the actions that you do every day, the choices that you make every day in front of people, not in front of people, it's how you are perceived and how you're remembered. So it's not about views, it's not about followers, it's not about likes, it's about what do you want to be, how do you want to show yourself to the world. And if it's views and likes, then you're not seeing the full grasp of reality here. And I'll admit that I'm even guilty of doing that. I was consumed by stats and numbers and views for so long because of short form content. But now it's the realization of having impact beyond numbers is the biggest thing, I think. And that's what we strive for.
Sam, I'm glad that you mentioned numbers, because doing this podcast for almost a year now, I spent a good chunk of it, still do sometimes, I fall back into it, of chasing the numbers. And I want more likes, I want more followers, I want more notoriety, I want more people to discover my page and listen to my content and whatever. And I really have to make sure that I pause and take an honest look in the mirror of where are my intentions? Why am I creating the content that I'm creating? Am I doing it to genuinely help people, or am I doing it because I want to be worshipped? And that's a major, I think, battle of spiritual and flesh and stuff like that. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that it's a very tempting thing, because you've said before how posting on Google or TikTok, YouTube, all that stuff, it's like winning the lottery, where you could post a video and get 1.5 million views, and the next video you get 400 views. Like, you have no idea what to expect. So I think that us three now focusing on bodies of work, bodies of art, is the biggest thing. Like, to me, the album that I made is equivalent to a painting that I spent a year working on. Like, it's no different from a drawing, from a painting, to some graphic design work that I did. It's a project that I am proud of, that we are proud of, that we did not do with the intent of wanting to blow up. But if we blow up, it's great, but that's not what we did it for.
All right, I love that. Joey?
Sorry, the original question was...
What kind of impact do you hope to have on people through this movie?
Yeah, as far as just like what I would like the movie to impact people, like how I would like it to impact them, it's a very philosophical movie, I feel like. I think that was something we were very conscious of when creating it. We talked earlier about Rue not having a full-blown personality, him having some generic things to it. The ending is very you'll see. So we did it purposely for that like philosophical aspect, number one. So I want people to, most importantly, leave this premiere, leave the movie, however they watch it, and think. We talked, us four talked before this a lot about walks, and how when you're on a walk, a lot of times that's when like creativity will flow, or you'll think a lot about something. And I want this movie to be the equivalent of a visual walk. It's walking you through different thoughts, and then by the end you're like, let me think about that. So as far as impact goes, I want it to make people question things. You can come. What would be really cool is if someone came into this movie and was like, I was iffy about God, but then this made me think about it. Like, not even I believe in it, but it just made me think about it. Or I didn't believe in God, then I left this movie. Or sorry, I did or do believe in God, and I left this movie, and it's just made me think about my life choices and where I want to end up. Just that would be the biggest compliment, I think, personally, about this movie. Somebody came in and then left thinking about something else. So
I love that. It sounds very thought-provoking and reflective. Do you have anything else before you pass it to Ben?
No, not too much about impact. I would say that's probably number one. Here, Ben, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, for For impact, I really just want people to watch this movie, understand the message that we were trying to convey, and then put themselves in Rue's shoes. Like, understand you aren't the only one who probably feels like they've done some bad things in their lives, who thinks that they're too far gone, regretting things. I want people to understand, it's okay. Like, everything you've done, it's okay. You are forgiven as long as you want forgiveness. And I think that's a really important message to give to people, no matter what. And it's a message that is timeless. So I think that, if no one watches our movie today, I think that in 20 years, when it's still out on the internet somewhere, people can just watch it forever and understand it is okay. And you are okay. Yeah. That's what I want.
I do want to emphasize, as Ben says, that I love this movie, and it's the best thing that us three have made by far, I would say, as far as editing, acting, it all goes. But that being said, we will continue to progress. It is by no means a perfect movie, and we know that, and we're continuing to work on it. We joked earlier, but this was on the budget of 3 brothers and my older brother buying us Papa John's. So much pizza, so much passion, and one camera, unless one died. That's why we shouted out Kent earlier. We legit got to know the manager personally. So we by no means expect this to blow up. This is truly because we love the story. We think that it's important. It's an important message, one that people need to think about, that people should be thinking about. And we just want to get that story out there. And we hope that people can maybe oversee a few of those maybe patchy things in the movie that 3 brothers were trying to fix. But this is a work of passion. We did our best, and at its core, it's important that we get this story out there so that people can think about it.
Have you guys ever given the what if thought? What if this blows up? What if the album blows up?
But Ben and I have been talking about it, like he said earlier, I'm sure you're familiar with the Russo brothers, the people that directed the Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War.
Not super familiar. Tell me about it.
Oh, you're not? Oh, well, basically, the Russo brothers directed a lot of...
or even the Duffer Brothers of Stranger Things.
Yeah, there's a lot of different brothers, and when Ben and I were making the Ben movies in the BCU, Ben Cinematic Universe, we would always talk about what if we're the next Russo brothers. Well, Haberberger's a little too long, so we're gonna need to change it to Habes maybe. I don't know, we would talk about it so much, and it isn't, like I said earlier, until I've gotten older where I've realized it isn't necessarily now that I want to be famous for being a director. It's definitely elementary teacher now before. But the idea of becoming big and being able to share the stories that we feel like are important on a mass level so that people can watch, listen, because including Sam's albums, right? So watch and listen is super important to us. But I'll let each of them speak on that too.
I think that the main thing is that we have a platform that we're able to put this message on. I think that that's the most important thing. I think that I forgot what I was going to go here.
The question is, what have you ever thought about what would happen if we make it big?
I think.
You think about it.
Do you want Ben to go?
I love it. Go first.
Okay.
I'll try to form my answer.
Okay.
Real quick, I want to say, maybe I could just add another question to the question to help you think about that. But how do you approach a craft with the intention of being great at it and putting out great high quality content, but not corrupting your soul in the process or not losing track of what's important?
So when it comes to the famous question, obviously I've thought a million times about what happens if we all of a sudden we're super famous. The right person saw our movie at the right time, and we have a huge budget for our next thing. And for me, it's really not about being famous. It's about being influential. I would love if I could make a story that I feel is really important and as many people as possible see it. I don't personally desire a red carpet, Met Gala, huge thing, winning an Oscar. None of that is super appealing to me. Obviously, it'd be cool, but I really, really would love just lots of people being able to look at themselves in the mirror and relate to me and be able to maybe if one person decides to do better or feel better about themselves because of something that I made, that's enough. That is so cool. And then I forgot.
Or just thoroughly enjoy it. Like our next album movie isn't necessarily a huge philosophical one. It does have a lot of philosophy in it, but you watched it, you enjoyed it, and then it got you thinking. It might not change your life forever, but it impacted you.
Yeah. And then what was the second question you had?
Man, I forget. I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry. But yeah.
What was the difference of how do we still make high quality content without selling our souls and all that stuff? I think that with fame and stuff like that, fortunately and unfortunately today, if you make a good story, a good album, a good movie, any of that stuff, and it's good and people like it, fame just naturally comes with that. It's a pill that you take regardless of if you want to be famous or not. So I think that if, in a great world where Night does blow up and a lot of people relate to it, which I hope that that's really the end goal. But if that happens, it will be, famous or whatever. So I think naturally that will happen. I think that regardless of it happening, we will still love doing it. And I don't think that, fame is going to change any of that if we got famous. It's just that we love doing what we're doing and we're happy that a lot of people like it. And that's the big part, is that 8 billion people could love what we do, but that'll make us famous, but we're not doing it because we're famous. We're doing it because we want people to like it, and we don't have any desire to have any type of award because of it.
It's like I said earlier, I'll give it to Ben, but like I said earlier, it's elementary. Like, I want to be an elementary teacher. That's not going to change if I become big. So if we become big, which we've talked about a lot, which is just because it's a fun thing to talk about. If anything, it's left in my mind as I get older. Like, as I get older, when we were younger, the idea of getting big was fun and cool and awesome. But honestly, as I get older, it becomes more scary, because it's what does being an elementary teacher look like all of a sudden, right? And I don't want to sacrifice that white picket fence life just to keep making movies. I would rather it just be a hobby that gets me closer to my family than to sacrifice that for that life that I've always wanted.
Yeah, there's a artist, Christian artist. His name is Josiah Queen, but he has a song. Can't think of the name, but one of the lyrics, it goes, "I don't want to lose my soul chasing after the things that don't lead me straight to you," and he's referring to God. So it sounds like what he's saying is he doesn't want to lose himself and his soul and his morals and values chasing after the bait. Like you're a fish underwater and there's a bait and you keep chasing after it, but it's like a trap.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, I want to ask you guys another question. Each of you can take turns answering. How do you guys thrive the most? What I mean is do you guys thrive and improve the most based off of constructive criticism, maybe positive feedback, or even hate, and it lights a fire under you? What works for each of you guys?
My answer might change depending on what they say, but right now I think in my head I have a friend named Will, and I was, because I wanted audience feedback a little bit, eyes that weren't my own, that made it, that was standing there. I knew exactly where I was standing when I filmed that shot. I wanted somebody that didn't necessarily know that. What I found out through him kind of drove me was that positive and constructive criticism. It's not the, what I don't need to hear is, I've had some friends that have watched it and just been like, yeah, it was interesting, a lighting choice right here, or yeah, I think that this, or okay, I didn't know it was going to be like this, and that's just not helpful to me. That's that's just unnecessary feedback. But then when he gave me feedback, it was very oh, so is it because of this? Provoking question. And then it was oh, I really like this. What I think might be cool to add on to this already great thing, kind of stuff like that. That feedback that isn't just demeaning, it's constructive feedback. So for me, as far as feedback goes, that's definitely helped me a lot. Same with my parents. Something that I like that people have said sometimes is, oh, that sounds like a real song, or ooh, that looks like a real movie. That shot looks like it'd be in a real movie, and I'm like, well, yeah, it is. yeah, thank you. So for me, it's that.
Yeah, so for me, when it comes to creating ideas and stories, the times I thrive the best are when it's just no pressure, and me and Joey and Sam are just kind of shooting the bull, saying words. 9 out of 10 times it's terrible ideas, but I think the more bad ideas we have, they end up into good ideas. And just like being able to say anything, just like, oh, what if this happens? Ben, we can't do that. What if this happens? What if this happens? Oh, but then if we take this from that, and we can kind of just like take all these bad ideas, culminate them into a great idea, just being able to shoot the bull for sometimes hours on end and just come up with something.
Sometimes it's just like we're like we had to talk before this because we all have so many thoughts and we're so passionate about our thoughts, and there's times where like we're just saying like, oh, what if this happened? We don't know because earlier it was this, and we're just going and it's just like this constant flow of energy and creativity. It's just like boom, and that's what we thrive on the most. It's what are like those, like, I don't know if it's like a Wall Street room in like those movies where it's just like it's just like a bunch of people sitting at desks. Picture that, but a Papa John's pizza and 3 people. That is pretty much us. So I actually agree with Ben on that as well. But here, Sam, you can give yours as well.
This will be a good time.
Criticism is what helps you guys.
Yeah.
This will be a good time to announce our sponsor, Papa John's.
Better ingredients, better.
I actually agree with everything they said. There's not really much to add on to that. I totally agree. Yeah, not much to say for me.
All right, well, I have one final question, but before I get to that question, is there anything else that you guys would like to discuss, bring up, whatever?
Just be able to go to that premiere, man. It's gonna be fun if you're in the St. Louis area. Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. Any independent artist of any kind, I think that it's really cool to show support to. All 3 of us,
if able, yeah.
Yeah, all 3 of us support all types of independent artists, like whether we even know them personally or we go to their concerts or we follow them on Instagram. Like, we do everything we can to support independent art. I think that that's the next big thing of entertainment. I think that record labels are actually struggling because of how many independent artists there are now, whether it's music.
Like Markiplier, Curry Baker, like these are some YouTubers releasing movies, and it's like, what are you doing? Stop.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the next big wave of stuff. So we would love to be a part of this wave. It would be awesome. So we're hoping to catch fire to that.
Awesome. Do you think that being an independent artist allows you more freedom to do things by your own pace and at your own will?
Yes, for sure. And I actually one of a great independent artists that I listen to, watch, and all that stuff, Nick D. He said, he said that, and Connor Price, Graham, all 3 of them. They say artists don't need labels, labels need artists, and I think that that's a huge thing right now because labels are really only there if you wanted that platform, like a bigger platform. But if I'm able to get to that big platform by myself, what would I necessarily need a label for? I think
that can get lost sometimes in social media. I think that's important. Like I think that even for some of these artists that we talk about, it becomes very much like, how many TikTok streams can I get? So I think that it's a good and a bad. I think independent artists do have to remember, like, it isn't also just about being trendy, getting different things said, done, whatever, but also remember you do have to be creative and have those different thoughts and all that.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's also a really big thing of what differentiates us 3 too. Is that, like I said earlier, we like making bodies of art and not just like a single for TikTok, you know?
And it's I'm going to speak for Sam a little bit just in case he doesn't bring it up, but I'm going to be honest. Sam did go through an era that Ben and I are happy to talk about. Yeah, that me and Ben are. Yeah, Ben and I are. That was on the first take. Yeah, on the first. This second take is going better than the first though, so it's okay. Yeah.
We did a first take, but the camera wasn't recording. So if you're getting confused by why we keep saying second take,
first take was like an hour long, and then after we finished, we were like all pumped up and went back to look at the footage, and there was maybe 2 minutes total. So it was super deflating, but take 2, I think it's going pretty efficient.
Shout out to Samsung. Samsung's working better than Apple, so Android users.
S25, here we go, baby.
Finally taking a win. But Sam went through a large era where he was releasing a lot of music message that was just it was TikToks and stuff, and I eventually asked Sam, I said, why? Like why are you doing this? And he was like, well, for streams and all that. Like, I want to get out there. Like, this is the way to get out there. And you know what? some of his stuff did get out there. A lot of people did watch it, but like at what cost? Like how much creativity did you sacrifice for that? Like, did you enjoy making that song, or did you, like, you know what I mean? And then we got to Before the Sun Goes Down, which is the EP that was released before Night, that leads directly into Night. And I said, you need to like take a second. Like, we need to make some sort of record that talks a little bit about what you're thankful for. What should you be writing about? What's worth writing about? And in my eyes, I feel like, while a lot of his previous music had a lot of great messages and it was really good, greatly produced, he was finding himself, his writing, his music, his vocals. And I feel like Before the Sun Goes Down, in my opinion, is like this mile marker where it's like change begins and then night, and which I think is kind of cool. Actually, it's like an unintentional, very cool thing.
Well, and it's also perfect because Night is going to be the first project of hopefully many projects now where with music that I create, with albums that I create now, it'll be synonymous with movies now. And I think that this will be a super unique way of putting media out there on different mediums, like to be able to do visual and audio at the same time, like multidisciplinary creatives, all three of us. It's super cool. I think it's evolved really well.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben?
Yeah, so what I wanted to talk about was, in the first take, you asked a question that I really liked. It was, do you think that doing any of this made us feel like better people, or like good people? I think it was better person or something like that, yeah. And I think it just sparked some good conversation, so I wanted to talk about that. And I said no, because what I love about this movie and this story is that it's about a broken person, and I think that it's a great thing that, like, you know, none of us three are perfect. No one in the world's perfect. We're all, you know, not bad people, but we're all imperfect people, broken people. Yeah, we all sin. And I think that we really convey that story through this movie really well. And I think one of the best things it can do is just connect all broken people, which would be everyone, and just show you guys that it's okay. No one is a better person for doing it. Like you can't be better than other people, because like everyone is bad at something. I don't know. I think
what we ended up agreeing on is that better people, no, a closer bond with each other, and happier, absolutely happier, closer bond. We grew so much as individual artists and as just like people, but being a better human being for it, I don't know about that. That's what we ended up agreeing on.
Yeah, and I think especially through this story, it's just about finding that beauty within the brokenness, showing that like no matter what, you have worth and value, no matter what you've done and things like that. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Speaking of finding beauty within the brokenness, I wanted to touch on the last thing I'll say before. Did you say you had your last question was after this?
Yes.
The last thing that I'll say is that this movie, I said earlier, I am confident in it. I love it. It's the best thing that us three have made by far, in my opinion. Actually, I do really like My Biggest Battle, the song and music video, but watch that too. But that being said, it does have its flaws, just like Rue does. Sorry. But so the movie, there is some like, oh, like you could tell three people made this with one camera. So I think that this is a great growing experience that we've learned a lot, and we're going to continue to get more equipment, learn more, work with what we have, and keep using our creativity like we did when we were 10, using an iPad to film a Star Wars movie. And that's not going to stop, but I don't want to blindside anybody coming into this movie thinking it's going to be a Marvel CGI blockbuster. It is a movie that three brothers made with a camera and passion. So
isn't it cool though how you can make a movie that's in theaters on just a smartphone?
It's crazy. My grandpa, it's so funny because he was one of like the first people probably ever to have a camera, and it was a Super 8, and he has his old film still, and we watch it. And it's really funny to see because he has my dad and my dad's uncle Mark, or sorry, my uncle and my dad's older brother Mark, and he would dress them up as like Superman and all that, and be like, "All right, Superman, you gotta go run to the phone booth," and they're like, "Oh yeah," and they run across, and looking at that, and then my grandpa seeing what we make now, he's like, I was pressing stop on a film reel so that they could go run in there, and now you've got all these special effects and colors, and it's really cool to see how far we come. And it's something that I'm really grateful for, that seeing that old home movies that he has, and then looking at what we have now.
That's awesome. It seems like filmmaking in particular really runs in the blood.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even my parents were super into theater. My dad wanted to be an actor. He wanted to be a sports announcer for a little bit, do news. My mom wanted to be a music teacher. It's definitely in our blood, I would definitely say.
All right, guys. Well, I have one final question for you. What is something that you would like the audience to know about each of you individually?
I think Ben and I prepared for this.
Yeah, we got this.
Yeah, wait, 3, 2, 1. We climbed a mountain in Colorado. Yeah.
Synchronized beautifully.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. We climbed a mountain in Colorado. That's we've done that. We had this question prepared, and we were like, God, there's not really that much interesting stuff about us. We are. This is the most. Ben and I are helping. I helped last year, but Ben and I are going to my dad's barbecue team, Slabs of Smoke, and they're a world-winning barbecue team. That's pretty cool.
Did you just say world-winning barbecue team?
I said world-winning barbecue team. That's right. Memphis and
second place worldwide, and
second place worldwide. They've gone like top 10 like 5 times or something now.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Shout out my dad.
Okay. Does Papa Haberberger have any upcoming competitions?
He pretty much only does Memphis and May now. He used to lead stuff for Bash, which was in St. Louis, but now it's pretty much Memphis and May. So if you want some world-winning ribs, come drive out to Tennessee.
Might have to make the trip just for that.
Yeah. I don't. Is there anything else?
Yeah,
that's cool?
so on the first take, whenever we did this, on a more serious note, was talking about our faith and how that's like one of the most important things about me in my life. And I feel like I'm not as vocal about it as I should be. Obviously, wear the cross necklace, which is a pretty obvious sign of it. But I think that, like, especially with me and a lot of Christians, I don't feel like we're very vocal about it. It's not like a very popular thing to be a Christian nowadays. So that's probably the most important thing about me is I love God, love everything about that. And it would be really awesome if someone saw our story and it sparked a question in their mind that planted a seed that led them to Christ. I would love that. But yeah, that's a little fun fact about Ben, I guess.
Amen.
Amen.
The piggybacking and backflipping off of that. I think that an important thing is not having judgment. We talked about that in the last one too. It's important to me and for Ben, kind of what he was saying. That I'm going to build off a little that I do my best to just be nice. I think believing in God is an actually very personal thing. And I say what you want about church, but belief in God is another. And I think that it's important that me with my kindness, wanting to be an elementary teacher, with what my parents have taught me, my morals, that God shows through that and not through judgment where you say, oh, I've done this or I won't do this. And it's, oh, you know what? That is not what I believe. And you're wrong for that. It's showing kindness, love, and forgiveness no matter what, which is what God would want and does want and does. So I think that's important for us as well.
For sure. Romans chapter 3, verse 23, all have fallen short of the glory of God. So all of us have needed mercy and forgiveness at various times in our life. I mean, every day, heck.
Yeah.
Literally.
All right, Sam.
Yeah, I agree. I think that having good morals like that is a huge thing in all three of our lives. I think that it's one thing just being a good person, but it's another thing to actually have a base moral of having something that you can come back to, that there's a reason why you're a good person. That's the huge one for me, for sure.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that.
Yeah.
Having a reason. I think that it's important to have something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, rather than just, I should be nice. Yeah. Something else you don't know about me? I'm just this is the fun fact. I like being creative. I like making movies and music. Yeah. I'm just a creative guy. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. We're big family people. We believe in God. We love food.
Me too.
Yeah, food's great. I love it. My dad's on a world-winning barbecue team.
All right, bro.
Really? And you said your mom is pretty good at cooking too, right?
My mom's a great cook. She's a spectacular cook. Her parents are lived right near the hill her whole life. They're like Italian. She grew up with food. We have great food at our house.
Man,
You should come by the Haberberger house sometime.
By the Haberberger house.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Free of cost.
To any of the listeners, just pull up to the front door.
the Tony Stark meme.
Right.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to get tickets to the movie, you can just look up Galeria6cinemas.com. And just, it's called Night. You should just be able to click on it, look it up.
Or
and
go
then,
on Fandango.
you can also just go on Fandango. And then also it's on the link in my Instagram bio as well.
All right, guys. That was Sam, Joey, and Ben Haberberger on episode 91 of the Reborn Experience. I will post in the description all of their socials and any other helpful links. Guys, thank you so much. I had a blast today.
It's been great talking to you. You're a great host. Listen to his podcast, watch his videos. He's been great. You're great to talk to. We were nervous coming in, but conversing with you has been great. You've made us feel like at home, comfortable. So it's been great talking to you.
Yeah, you guys as well. Thank you so much.
Watch what they say, but don't do what they do. Actions speak louder in spirit and truth. I'm built different. I'm built different. Watch what they say, but don't do what they do. Actions speak louder in spirit and truth. All gas, no brakes. Can't fight fake. Mind over matter. Faith, no cape. Some only complain.